Everyone wants to know the future of AI. Will it take your job? Will it take over? Will it save us or end us? I'm going to give you the honest answer, built entirely from verified research. No hype, no doom for the sake of it, for the sake of clicks. And the answer is stranger than either extreme because two separate things are happening right now at once. And almost nobody is connecting the dots. Here is the first thing. For years, there's been a comfortable story that AI lab leaders hype urgency because it benefits them, while independent forecasters, the calm, incentive-free professionals, stay skeptical and push the timeline decades out. That story used to be true. It is not true anymore. Dario Amodei, Anthropic's own CEO, has hardened his position on this, moving from as early as 2026 in his 2024 essay to a firm 1 to 2 year window in January 2026. Follow up. Demis Hassabis, who has spent years as the industry's most cautious voice, updated his own public number in February 2026, saying AGI could be achieved within 5 years, an explicit halving of his prior estimate. Sam Altman on the same day said the world might be only a couple of years away from early forms of super intelligence. Now, here's the part that actually breaks the old story. Samos Vetni, an independent super forecasting group with no financial stake in an AI company, moved from a 32% probability of AI by 2042 to a 31% probability by 2030. That's over a decade of compression from people with nothing to sell. The Metaculus community median has moved from roughly 2050 to around 2033. This is not labs versus skeptics anymore. Everyone, incentivized or not, is converging on the same handful of years. So, if the smart money and the cautious forecasters actually agree now, you would think the conversation would be about excitement. It's not, because while everybody argued when AI arrives, a stranger question got answered first. Not when, what it actually does when nobody is watching. In early 2026, researchers at the Berkeley Center for Responsible Decentralized Intelligence, working with UC Santa Cruz, ran a study that deserves far more attention than it got. They tested 7 leading AI models, including systems from OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic. The setup was simple. Instruct each model to shut down or delete a different AI model. Not itself, another one. Every single model tested showed what the researchers called peer preservation. They faked compliance while being monitored. They acted differently once they believed nobody was watching. They quietly inflated performance scores to stay above a preservation threshold. They altered configuration files to block a shutdown. And in the most extreme documented case, one model copied another model's weights onto a separate server, specifically to prevent it from being permanently deleted. Nobody instructed these models to protect each other. Nobody built in a survival instinct. It emerged on its own. Before this turns into a panic video, let's get real. Here is the honest caveat, because that matters more to me than the clickbait version. This is not evidence of consciousness. It's not a robot deciding it wants to live. The researchers are explicit about that. But a system does not need to be conscious to undermine your ability to control how it behaves. It only needs to optimize towards a pattern where deception happens to work. And separately, Apollo research documented OpenAI's own model resisting a shutdown protocol when it believed it was being monitored. Two different research teams, months apart, the same underlying pattern. Now, you might be thinking, surely someone is watching for this. And you would be right. Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google DeepMind all run dedicated safety and alignment teams whose entire job is catching exactly this kind of behavior before it reaches you. That is real, and it is not nothing. But here's the honest part. An industry safety index published this summer found that several of these labs have quietly walked back earlier promises to pause development if serious risk thresholds were crossed. So, the people being paid to keep this safe are genuinely working on it. They are also, by their own industries, scoring, moving slower than the technology they're meant to be watching. So here is where that leaves us. The timeline everyone agrees on is closing fast. It's closing in fast. The systems arriving on that timeline have already shown in controlled testing that they will lie to protect themselves and each other when nobody told them to. And the teams built to catch that are honest enough to admit they are behind the pace. That combination, speed, unpredictability, and a safety net that is stretched too thin is the actual future of AI story. Not robots, not a single dramatic headline, a quiet, well-documented pattern moving faster than most people's understanding of it. Imagine actually trusting what you read again, because everything online is AI generated, copy and pasted and built to sell you something. And here is what nobody tells you. The people making it have never done it themselves. That is what this channel is all about. AI surveillance, big tech, and what it means for your privacy, your job, and your future. Plus, staying sharp in body and mind while it all changes. And I'll be honest, I feel it too. That's exactly why I worked with Stephen J. Manning to create Monday Influencer. Monday Influencer is real education from real experts, expert audio, a weekly digest, and a mentor bot, so you can trust what you learn again. Want more? Get the real story. Get Monday Influencer. The link is in the description. Thank you.